So, in order for us to do something new and to truly change the way that we do things, it really requires us to consciously work against our own ingrained programming. That means that we need to actually do the work of creating new neural pathways. And the initial effort of doing that can feel like pushing a boulder up a hill. Welcome to Don't Step on the Bluebells, the podcast where personal healing and transformation take center stage. I'm your host, Amanda Parker, and I'm a fellow seeker on the journey of personal growth. Join me as I delve into the stories of gifted healers, guides, and everyday people who have experienced remarkable transformations. Listen in as they share their practical wisdom to enrich your everyday life. And don't forget to hit subscribe and never miss a new episode. Welcome to today's mini episode of Don't Step on the Bluebells. I'm your host, Amanda Parker, and today we're tackling a question that I know so many of you have been asking yourselves. Why is it that sometimes you think that you want something, even when you know that you want to change it, but you just don't do it? Now, this is something that so many of us have struggled with. It's a really common occurrence. So let's say that you really want to go to the gym, but instead, when your alarm goes off in the morning, you just hit snooze, or you want to go to these networking events because you're planning to expand your network, talk to new people, meet new people, but you never seem to find the time, or some project or other always comes up that keeps you away from being able to attend. Or perhaps you just know that there's something that you should be doing to be able to reach your goals, and yet you just don't do it. So, this might sound familiar to you, and if it does, don't worry, you're not alone. So, today we're going to be talking about what that actually is, what might be standing in your way, and what are some of the ways that you can actually close the gap on the things that you say that you want and actually taking them into action and doing them. So we'll be exploring the difference between those who say what they want and actually do it, and those who can't quite figure that out just yet. I will say that from my side, I believe the answer lies in one really powerful concept, which is going all in. So let's take a moment just to explore this central core question. Why don't we follow through? What's really going on here? Why are we staying in this limbo, this wanting, desiring, saying that we want things to be different, but not actually taking action on it when we could be? So, most people believe that it's a lack of willpower or a lack of motivation, but I believe that it's something much deeper than that. So, we all have our lives already in motion. We have our routines, our habits, patterns, behaviors, things that are really comfortable to us and already ingrained. It doesn't take much thought. We don't have to plan things out when they're already a part of the process that we follow. Even if they're not really making us that happy, it's sort of okay enough to not change it. So, in order for us to do something new, and to truly change the way that we do things, it really requires us to consciously work against our own ingrained programming. That means that we need to actually do the work of creating new neural pathways. And the initial effort of doing that can feel like pushing a boulder up a hill. Here's the hard truth. So, most people are afraid to fully commit. They might dip a toe in, they might try it out for a couple of days or even a couple of weeks, but they're not really fully committed and not really going all in. Believe me when I tell you that the universe is always giving you a hell yes. So if you're really all in on something and showing up for the task, it will respond to you as well. How do you become one of those people that's actually able to go all in? I think that we need to explore 4 different areas of what it actually means to go all in. So if you're finding yourself stuck, you really want to commit to something, it's become really hard to do, really take a moment to pause and listen here to these 4 questions and see what might be going on beneath the surface. So, the first question is, why does this actually matter to me? We're often jumping in straight away to what I want to do. What do I want to change? So, I want to lose weight or I want to get a promotion, but we don't take the time to think about, why do we want that? Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want that promotion? So maybe there's something about, it's not actually about losing weight. Maybe you just really want to feel beautiful. You want to feel good in your clothes. Maybe it's about having more energy that you can play with your kids without feeling exhausted. So, the deeper desire and understanding what it is that's beneath the surface is going to help you connect to that motivation, especially in those moments where it's difficult to follow through. Like your alarm is going off an hour earlier than usual, and all you want to do is sleep later. So, to give you an actionable takeaway, write down in your journal, ask yourself, what is that feeling that I'm hoping to achieve with this goal? Make sure that you're going a couple of layers deeper just than the surface want. Like, I want to lose weight. No, actually, why do I want to lose weight? Well, I have this beautiful dress that I haven't been able to wear for the last whatever, 3 years. So you pick the thing that's most important to you and start to go down beneath the layers to find out what might be the deeper desire beneath the surface. The second question that you can ask yourself is, how much friction is there to my success? So let's be honest, your current lifestyle or schedule is already in motion. It already exists. As I said before, you already have your habits, your behaviors, the things that are helping you to keep that momentum going. And when you're trying to start something new, there's a question about what actually needs to change in your current day to day to create the space for the new thing to come in. So, to go back to our gym example, this is a terrible example because I would never go to the gym at 6 a.m., let me be honest. But let's just say you decide for whatever reason, you want to go to the gym at 6 a.m. You want to be able to get there before you go to work, before it's too crowded, to have the energy that you need throughout the day. But if you're the kind of person who's typically awake, late at night until 11 or 12 before you get into bed, getting up and going to the gym first thing in the morning is going to be really hard. The resistance will be super high on being able to do that. It doesn't mean that you will never be able to reach that goal. It just means that you're making it really hard on yourself. You want to have as little friction as possible to be able to start something new. So you want to be a bit more realistic about what is that path that you can take that will actually fit into your life and fit into your schedule. So how might you be able to reduce the friction? Well, maybe you start with 15-minute workouts. Maybe you start with workouts at home, following a video or doing yoga at home in your living room. Or perhaps you can find a way to, get to a gym on your lunch break. So something that's not going to create so much friction with what you're currently doing and gives you the space to be able to succeed. The third question, you're going to want to ask yourself, what have I tried before and why didn't it work? So if you're trying to solve the same problem over and over again using the same techniques that you've used before, you're setting yourself up for failure. There was this beautiful video that I saw on social media the other day. It was 2 women and it was a meme. So one was saying that one was the therapist, one was the client. And then there was this candle in the middle, and they called that the problem. And you see the client with her matchbook, and she just keeps striking the matches over, fast, as fast as she could. And she can't seem to get the matches to light, but she keeps trying. She's resilient. She's not giving up. Her therapist hands her a lighter. She looks at the lighter like, okay, now we all have an expectation of what she's going to do with the lighter. Does she do that? No, of course not. She takes the lighter and the matchstick and lights the matchstick on fire, much to the absolute exasperation of her therapist. and then uses that to light the candle. And it just shows, it was such a beautiful metaphor. If I can find it, I'm going to link to it, or you can go search for it on your own. But it's a beautiful metaphor that we are often just trying to solve the same problem over and over and over and over again in the exact same way. Even if it's proven to be ineffective, we just have this loop, this idea in our mind of what this should look like. And if you're not careful, your persistence will keep you further looping and further stuck. So if you are continually trying to solve your problem in the exact same way, it's time to hit pause, analyze what you've done before, getting understanding of what has worked, what hasn't worked, and get an understanding of why it hasn't worked. This is going to free up a lot of your mental energy to understand what different approaches could you take the next time. Coming back to our example of the gym, maybe in the past you had super restrictive diets to lose weight, or you committed to do 6 days a week at the gym and it was impossible. So you failed before you could even start. And therefore, you want to just take a look at what hasn't worked before so that you can actually find a way to do what will work for you this time. So the fourth question that you're going to ask yourself is, am I truly committed? So commitment is a choice. It's a decision that you make. It's not a feeling that magically appears. You have to actually choose it. If I want to start, starting this podcast is a great example. There was no outside pressure to do it. I just wanted to do it. I decided before I even started, it took months for me to get the energy and commitment to actually follow through on what I said I wanted. And in order for me to truly go all in and give it the best possible shot, I told myself, I will give this a year. Let me see what happens with a year. I can go all in on this project for 1 full year to find out what happens before I decide that it is or isn't working. And as a result of that, here we are almost 2 years later, I think 2 years later to the recording of the first episode. And we're still going and we're still having amazing conversations and these new wonderful formats of mini episodes that you are listening to right now. If you want to find what that means for you, what it means to really be committed, there's something you really, really want, think about that next goal, that next thing that you're seeking out. And then you're going to want to decide if it's something you're willing to really go all in on. And the truth is that even if you go all in, if you commit fully, if it doesn't work out or it blows up in your face or you hate it, you can make a different choice later on. So this means that you're going to keep showing up for yourself so that you build that confidence that you can actually do and follow through on the things that you say you will. And even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient, and only after a certain time that you agree or commit to for yourself, you can decide that this is working and you're happy, you want to continue, or that perhaps things need to change. Now, this all sounds great, but what happens if it's still not working? So what if you do all of these exercises and it's still not working? You're still not really able to follow through on what it is that you say you want to do. Then you want to start examining what it is that you truly want. Because there's a possibility that the thing that you think you want is not really what you want. And if you keep trying to build towards it, you're probably just creating a shame cycle. And you're probably creating a situation in which you just lose trust in yourself. The number of years that I spent wanting to learn French. So I studied French in high school. I wanted to be fluent. I became an adult. I had all these goals, different things I was doing, working, etc. And I really still wanted to learn French. So it was on my list every year. The truth is, I didn't really want to learn French. I just wanted to know French. I wanted to already be fluent in it, but I didn't want to make the commitment that I would have needed to make to study the language and truly properly learn it. So eventually, probably after like 3 years of having that same goal every year on my list of things I wanted to do, I understood, I don't really want this. There's other things that are higher priority and more important to me now, and I let it go. I have never looked back on that goal. Let me be clear. There has not been a single day where I've been like, damn, really wish I had become fluent in French when I had the chance. So if I move to France, you might hear an update of this episode, but that's not in the plans. So we don't need to visit that again just yet. So understanding what it is that you really want, understanding if you can change the way that you set the goal for yourself to achieve what you want, because maybe that initial goal wasn't the right way to go about it. If I really want to become a writer, is reading 10 books on writing actually going to help me achieve my writing goal? Honestly, painfully, probably not, even though I love to read books on things I want to do. It's still not actually doing the thing, and will just postpone the amount of time that I'm not doing it and postpone the satisfaction that comes from actually achieving and following through on something that you say that you want. Start to find what are those true desires? What are those goals or those mini milestones that you can set that help you just take steps closer to it and build your own trust that you can actually follow through? So rather than jumping into what you think the right solution is without really understanding what you need, you are giving yourself the compassion and wisdom of finding a different way forward. All of this being said, there is a challenge for you to follow this week if it feels good for you. I want you to think about one of the things that you say you want that you haven't been showing up for. So pick just one thing, whatever that thing might be, and take 15 minutes, 20 minutes to sit down and answer the following questions. Why does this matter to me? So look on a deep emotional level. Why does this matter to me? What is the friction in achieving this? And how can I reduce that? Why didn't my past attempts work? And am I willing to really fully commit to this right now? Don't just think about it, write it down, make it real, make it tangible so that you can actually see what's happening in your own thought process. And know that going all in isn't about perfection. It's not about getting it right. It's about your intention, being really intentional, making a conscious choice for yourself, for your goals, for your desires. It's giving yourself the opportunity to say, I am worthy of the effort that it will take for me to reach this thing that I really want to have in my life. And when you fully commit and you fully go all in, you're sending a powerful message to yourself, to the universe, to anyone who might be listening that you're ready for that change. And that's when things can really begin to shift for you. I hope that you've taken something away. Please feel free to share with me how this resonates, what lands, and what results you might be getting from those questions that you're asking yourself. And I wish you lots of luck on the journey to following through on all those big, beautiful, ambitious goals that you have set for yourself. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Don't Step on the Bluebells, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Don't Step on the Bluebells. If you enjoyed this conversation, please give the podcast a 5-star rating wherever you listen. And don't forget to hit subscribe and follow along so you never miss a new episode.